Hey guys, J77 here, and I'm going to be talking about another holiday movie. And this holiday movie happens to be one of the 80s most favorable classics. Many people who saw it from that time period, and even people who saw it now, are considered to be one of the best holiday movies ever made. I'm one of those who agree with that notion, although I will tell you that the television networks have pretty much almost ruined the magic with them repeating it again and again and again, and that is the Christmas story. The Christmas story is pretty much involves around a kid who wants a BB gun for Christmas, but is kept telling by his parents, by Santa Claus, even from himself, who is basically is too young. It will pop his eye out, and that's pretty much the premises. He's yearning for this BB gun. He's trying everything he can to get this BB gun, and it's just not happening. He's not one of the brightest kids. He's constantly bullied on. He constantly gets C's on in everything he does, and pretty much this kid is like almost like Charlie Brown. He can't do anything right. Um, it's almost like you felt sorry for the guy right up to the very end when he finally got that that BB gun. Only to almost had his eye popped out and say, "Jesus, can you give this guy a break for one scene?" Um, I'm gonna tell you now. I'm not gonna spend way too much time about this film. This is one of those films again that you really gotta sit down and see with your family. It's a very fun film. It has very good memorable moments, and if you haven't seen this film, because I'm going to tell you some few things that I remember from this film, great highlights from this film, and if you don't want me to spoil it for you because you haven't seen it before, feel free to stop it, go rent it, from your favorite video store, or try it and Netflix it. It is definitely worth your time. Or just wait around Christmas time. It's definitely going to be shown around the holidays again and again and again for 24 hours, 2 days straight. They do this a lot, and I'll get to that in a minute because that's the only thing out of the whole entire movie that annoys me. But that's a different topic. I will get to that topic in a minute. First, let me explain the one of the famous highlights from this film that always stuck out to me. Is the character. I can relate to this character. Never can cut a break. He's picked on like anybody who's really don't like to fight. Bullies picked on them, and he's really trying hard, but he just can never reach that next pedestal. He's getting all his ECs, and one day, and this is one of the most highlights that I always kept in my head, because this is something that always told me something. Be careful who you pick on, because you're gonna catch this guy at a bad day, and you may not like the end results of that bad day. And what I mean is, he's walking home, he's feeling blue, and he gets a snowball hit in his face, and this bully, who is a typical classic bully, is laughing at him. His homeboys or his followers are laughing, and Ralphie, who was the main character, just snaps. Went on a just he just went nuts. He was just hitting them, saying all sorts of things to him, beating him up to the point where he was actually bleeding. I'm like, oh my god, and he really is hurting this guy, to the point where even the bully's sidekick was like stunned. He was stunned. He was trying to break him off, and he just couldn't do it. It took his mom to break him off, and that always stuck by me. As you see, this is why you always don't want to mess with the little man, because you're gonna catch them in their worst day, and they may end up whipping your ass. And that was one of the things that I always remind myself. You don't want to be a jerk and pick on people, because sometimes it may come back to haunt you more worse than others. And I always kept that in mind, because I don't like to be bullied, and to do that to other people is just plain wrong. So that was one of the most memorable scenes in the movie that I had. Another memorable scene is, of course, the tongue and the pole scene. That was always something that reminded me never to attempt to try and do that. Even though as a kid I was like, I wonder if that really can do it. But I always looked back in that movie and said, nah, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be stuck out in the middle of the cold. I'm hoping that somebody will come and help me. Another scene, and this scene, I didn't mean to laugh, but it was just so funny. It was a scene where he was changed. It was changing the tire. That I think the car broke down, and the father did something to the tire, and the kid said the F bomb. even the narrator, who, like I said, it's like the Wonder Years, was like, I can't believe I said that. And I'm thinking, okay, is the father going to tell the mother? I mean, I don't think he's going to tell the mother. I think he's going to talk to him and say, don't say those words in the pro. But no, he tells the mother, and the mother just flips. And in the scene, he has the soap in his mouth, and he's like, they don't, the old cliche, wash your mouth with soap when you say a dirty word. And she was like demanding where he heard the word from, and I believe it was the bully, he said, because he lied. He said that's the first thing that popped out his mouth. So she ended up calling the mother's house. How she knew about the house, the mother where this bully lives, is beyond me. But he calls them, and you hear the grandmother. She said, "Guess what your son said?" And then and she's like, "What?" And she said what he said. He said, "Oh no." It said she said what she said. What Ralphie said to her, and as a result, and I'm sorry I'm stuttering, but I'm going a little bit too fast. I do apologize for that. But the moment she said that word, you heard in the background the mother, the grandmother, just going berserk, and all you can hear is like, "Oh no, I didn't say that. What's wrong? I didn't do anything wrong." He was like, it's almost like she was murdering her, and you can see the mother expressions of, "Oh my God, what have I done here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you did that. You caused that kid to get beat up for no reason." But I always laughed at that scene. Now, it was a bad scene, but I find it very funny how she was meant. She didn't really intend it for that situation to happen. This film is very fun. This film is very good. It's the perfect holiday film. In my opinion, it's probably one of the last great holiday films, great family films that ever came out, at least for a long, long time. I mean, there was really not many good holiday films. One of the things I liked about this film, it didn't try to be preachy, which was a good thing. A lot of holiday films that came out in the late 80s, even 90s, they try to be too preachy about some things, and they end up missing the point, or they end up being worse than what they intended to be. Perfect example is the Christmas Shoe. Don't ask me about that film. If you want to see it, but the less I talk about that, the more I can wipe it off my memory of ever seeing it. It's not a very good movie, and it's not even a very good song it's actually based upon. But that film was trying to be something, and it ended up being a total mess. This film, it was typical. It was dark, but it was also fun. It was not to the point where it just had the right balance. I really did enjoy it. If anything, if anything I find wrong with the movie itself, the character was pretty much depressing. I said, "Damn, don't this guy ever cut a break?" That was the only thing. But as a whole, it's a fun film. I mean, you can actually sit down and watch this film and not, and never get bored with it, unless, and this is the part where I have a big beef with it, unless you're TNT and decided to run this movie as an all-day, all-night marathon. Look, I love this film like more than anybody else, but this film is not meant to be made to run over and over again. After a while, you get sick and tired of it. Where the point is, you don't want to see it for another 3 years, and that would end up happening with me with this movie. It's one thing if they had like one classic Christmas film after another, or if there was actually a sequel to go with this movie. But playing this as a marathon, first of all, a marathon should be a string of episodes or a string of movie series tied into each other, or something that is highly related. Having the same movie run again and again and again for 24 to 40 hours is a bit much. I mean, come on. I mean, I can understand if you missed it the first time at work, and you get a chance to miss it again, but it's almost equal to the Eurolog where they had on Channel 11, which is still on the air, and I never understood that part, but that seemed to ruin it for me almost with this movie, because they kept doing that, and it's like, it's unnecessary. It really is. But a lot of people still love it. The house that they actually filmed this movie was actually turned into a museum. There are people who are still commenting on this film, so it has a strong cult following. And it's very, very funny about that because this is one of only a few films that has a strong cult following. There's not too many holiday films that has that big of a following. If it is, please list them for me. I'd like to know because the only film I can actually come up with that has a strong cult following, Wizard of Oz is one of them. March of the Wooden Soldier is definitely another one. You can make a case for Home Alone, the first one, because Home Alone, and we'll get to Home Alone later on in the week, but Home Alone, it has a cult following, but for a different reason, and I'll explain that when I do that video. But this is a film that truly held its own very, very well over the years. This was released in 1983, I believe, and throughout the years, this film just gotten better and better. It hasn't aged, and that tells you a lot. And the fact that people still remember it, still talk about it, and still deems it as one of the top 10, if not 5 best holiday films, that's saying a lot. And that's an accomplishment that not many holiday films can even say. So it does something right. Scale of 1 to 4, it is a 4-star film. It is a rare occasion, and if anything else, I suggest you see it as a holiday film. Don't see it as anything else. See it as a Christmas film. You will not regret it. It's one of those films that is meant to be seen as Christmas. It's also one of those films that's meant to see with family, and I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. Even if you haven't seen it before, this would be the perfect time to see it for the first time and see what everybody's been talking about. It's definitely one of those favorite films. So that's my feeling on Christmas Story. Hope you enjoyed this review. If you guys liked it, didn't like it, what's your feeling about the film overall? Please comment below. Let me know. I'd love to hear your opinion on the matter. Until then, J77 signing off.